Today on Warrior Update, Waubonsie raises awareness for recycling, the student becomes the teacher, and we visit Aurora's police chief. It's Friday, October 4th. I'm Aaliyah Mendoza, and this is Warrior Update. What's it like to be the police chief in the second largest city in Illinois? WVTV's Aaron Pachapa finds out.
Aurora's police chief leads the day-to-day operations in the community. She's responsible for maintaining peace and order. For Chief Kristen Zeman, the title and job means a lot to her.
It's an honor to be the chief in the city that I grew up in and the police department that I also came up in through the ranks. Being the chief of this police department means that I serve the entire city of Aurora and the police officers that work here. So when I think of that title, it just reminds me that I'm responsible.
One of Zeman's influences came from her father being in the Aurora Police Force.
I can remember being like 12 years old and him, stopping the car and telling me to stay in there because he went to help someone who was in an accident. I wanted to be a police officer because I felt like, everyone else kept driving, but police officers always stop and help people, and it felt like something to do to be able to make a difference.
However, the road to being chief hasn't always been the smoothest journey. Chief Zeman talks about perseverance and the challenges of being a female police chief.
I think the one common denominator in our profession is that when guys come on, it's automatically assumed that, that they're going to be accepted, where it feels like women have to prove themselves a little more. I've been very blessed in that I haven't had a lot of challenges that have really been roadblocks for me being a woman. This is a very progressive police department that rewards good work.
Overall, Chief Zeman just loves her job and the department.
Policing is cool because it's never the same thing twice. Every day is different. And when you get in your squad car, you have no idea where a 911 call is going to send you. And I love that adventure of the whole thing.
For Warrior Update, I'm Aaron Pachapa.
A familiar student face is back at Waubonsie, but this time as a teacher. Rosie Schrader reports.
A 2015 alum makes her return to Waubonsie Valley, but this time as a teacher instead of a student.
I chose to go into teaching because of this school, actually, because of the staff and the teachers at this school. When I was here, I loved seeing all the teachers, kind of like just the community feel that all the teachers had, and I wanted to be a part of something like that. And also just because I love to help people, I love to find what students are good at and kind of help them find their passion, just like the school helped me find mine.
Even though it has only been 4 years since she walked the hallways, the school is not exactly how Miss Johnson remembers it. She has seen Waubonsie grow in many ways.
A lot of physical changes like the gym, the bleachers, but then also a lot of kind of inside changes, things like all the different opportunities for extra support and clubs. There's so much more, like the after school homework club. Like there's a lot of different things that weren't available that are now available to students. Being back in the hallways as a teacher now instead of a student is definitely a weird feeling. It's kind of funny seeing old teachers, them like double looking me and being like, oh, is that her? And so I'm like, yes, it's still me.
During her time as a Warrior, Miss Johnson participated on the varsity cheer team.
The best part about Waubonsie cheer for me was definitely probably some of the football games and basketball games. Cheering in front of my peers was something that I really enjoyed. It kind of brought me out of my comfort zone, and it kind of made me feel like part of the school.
She is now back coaching the JV cheer team.
I really like to play off the girls' personalities and their strengths and their characteristics to kind of help facilitate the practices and the things we do. And I really want to help them not only be the best athletes, but be the best human beings they can with cheer.
For Warrior Update, I'm Rosie Schrader.
Warriors on 3! 1, 2, 3, Warriors!
And now, a word from our sponsors. There's a new hallway display that is catching the eyes of students and staff. Alenzi France has more.
This year, Waubonsee science students took environmental issues into their own hands through an awareness project.
Basically, the whole project started with Mr. Farnan really telling us, I want you to take a list for the next 24 hours of all the plastic you basically use during the day. And when we all came back the very next day, we were all kind of inspired and shocked about our results and how much that really impacted, not only in an individual, but in a class and also in a world manner, and how that can really affect our oceans and the nature around us. We started to think about like what different ways we can bring awareness to plastic overall and the usage of plastic, and how we can also reuse and reduce the usage of plastic, because we also did in our research that around only 10% of all things recycled is really recycled overall.
The display, which sits between the LMC and math, is designed to show the different types and amounts of plastic that are used.
Recyclables used to be sent to China, but now China doesn't accept them, which is why most of the recyclables end up in oceans and landfills and God knows where. Basically, our goal for Waubonsee is just not initially to recycle, but also to just see how much plastic you're using and try and reduce that, and maybe switch to like reusable things like bottles, maybe even straws.
Over the course of just 2 periods, students took plastic out of recycling bins.
The mere fact that we only took this, all the plastic for only 2 periods really showcases the amount of plastic that we use on a daily basis. If it's only in a meal, what more can we say about 3 meals? And what more can we say about a week's worth of plastic, and multiply that by the city or even the world overall?
For Warrior Update, I'm Alenzi France.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's get it. It's tribe time. Let's bust a rhyme for tribe time. Yeah, tribe time. It's tribe time. Let's bust a rhyme for tribe time. Now, what should you do after second period? Between third period? It's serious. We got a whole new schedule to give you the time. Don't be late, cause that's a crime. Walking in the hallways is frowned upon. Making up a test, that's not a con. You can talk to your teachers, get things straight. I promise it'll help with your grades. Talk to your counselor, get that future arranged. Get on the right path, maybe make a change. Be sure to pay attention, man, follow the rules. Tribe time is a gift given to you by the school. Don't take it for granted, because that would be lame. If you don't use it wisely, only have yourself to blame. Blame. Why? Cause it's tribe time. Let's bust a rhyme for tribe time. Yeah, tribe time. It's tribe time. Let's bust a rhyme for tribe time. Yeah.
That's all for Warrior Update. I'm Aaliyah Mendoza. Thanks for watching. The student becomes the teacher, and we visit Aurora's Police Chief. Okay. I'm Aaliyah Mendoza, and this is Warrior Update. You see the fly in the shot? Alenzi France has more. What's it like to be the police chief in the second largest city in Illinois? WV's TV's